welcome to my studio. I hope you're good. Today we are going to be turning a Nintendo Switch into an illustration. I have recently got into playing the Nintendo Switch. A friend recommended it to me, and my friend also recommended Stardew Valley. Now, Stardew Valley is my favourite game so far. I'm really into cozy illustration. Well, I am into cozy illustration. I'm really into cozy gaming and kind of being able to chill, and the games take as long as you want them to. It's great. But let me know in the comments below if you've played Stardew Valley. What if Stardew Valley designed this? I mean, there's so much space to think about and design on. So we've got the... Have I actually been holding this upside down the whole time? We've got lots of space around the top and the sides, and also plenty of space on the back. So, and even the box is bright and colourful. Box. Oh. Ow! What was that? Yeah. So, yeah. The box is bright and colourful and pink as well. And this gives lots of surfaces that we can draw on and fun things to kind of decorate and design a bit more. So in a sentence, what we're going to do is draw an illustration with a Nintendo Switch in it and also do some branding of the cover. And what we're going to do is we're going to do it all based on Stardew Valley. So I could have just said that at the beginning, but let's go, let's do it, let's start sketching and let's see what we can come up with. So I'm definitely going to start with saying I did not realise how tricky it was going to be to draw a switch, because if you draw it wrong, it basically looks really wrong. I mean, when you get it right, it felt really good, but it was so hard to draw the shape of a switch. I mean, it isn't actually a perfect rectangle. It's got rounded sides and obviously the placement of all the buttons. If you're a big fan of the Nintendo Switch, I really want to do it justice, and I don't want people to like come at me and go, oh, it doesn't look like a Switch, because that is the whole point of this video. But yeah, so after a lot of struggles, I kept going. I basically kept rubbing things out, drawing things. I mean, I must have drawn these buttons on the side about 20 times, but I'm so glad this is sped up, because I definitely underestimated how hard it is to draw a Nintendo Switch. It's so funny because you can tell the other artwork, like the character and the rough for kind of the house and things. I've literally just drawn basic shapes for that. But yeah, the Switch really had to be spot on for this video. The other stuff definitely comes more naturally to me because, as we all know, I love drawing my characters. So yeah, this was really about getting the Switch shape and the design nailed down. So now we've got our sketch, I think it's time we get colouring, and now it's really important that we focus on the colours of Stardew Valley, because obviously where it's kind of a collaboration between that and the Switch, it's really got to work together, and you really want to be able to look at this Switch and go, that looks like it's from Stardew Valley. Does that make sense? It is very important for this collaboration between the Switch and Stardew Valley that the colours are cohesive and they work together, but you can tell it's a Switch and you can also tell it's Stardew Valley. So if you've played Stardew Valley, you know there are 4 different seasons. My favourite one personally is spring. So all the bright colours, the greens, the browns, basically the lovely colours of spring, whatever colour you think of when you think of spring. Whereas winter would be a lot more cooler palette, cooler. Why is it the more you say a word, the weirder it gets? So we are going to pick spring for this collaboration. You never know, maybe there'll be different options for different seasons, but we will just see how far we get. We're just going to colour, have fun and see what we can come up with. So I've got my trusty iPad and my Apple Pencil. let's do it. Let's get sketching. And I may or may not play Stardew Valley. Let's go. Let's do it. So to start with, it really was all about getting this shade of pink right. It couldn't just be pink. It had to be the kind of coral that it is, because I think if not, it might just look wrong. And where I'm building upon this for this illustration to start with, we are going to brand it afterwards. We are using this illustration as kind of a jumping off point and just seeing where it leads. I had finally got the kind of dimensions and the scale of everything on the Switch right, it really was time to take this illustration to another level. I was always going to colour the screen as well and kind of have it almost coming alive and out of the screen. Basically, I was going to say coming out of the screen, but for some reason that made me think of the horror movie from when I was younger that I've never actually watched because it's so terrifying. But anyway, back to happy Stardew Valley colourful farm things. I'm now building out the colour of the trees. This is actually a really important bit because I decided very early on when I was drawing the initial switch that the light was coming from the right hand side. So that has meant even kind of the stuff inside the screen, everything in the image, even the character, every single thing in this image has to be lit from the right. And this is so important. If not, it'll kind of look off. I mean, I'll pop in a few examples of my other illustrations where basically you're picking a light source. So imagine you're in a dark room and then you put on a light, one light bulb, or the sunshine, and then it's got this directional light. Like if you remember the kind of theatre lights, obviously that's really exaggerated, but that is what you want to do. You want to decide where the light is coming from, even though we aren't drawing the light source. You can also see that I've definitely popped some reference images on the screen. This is so I can colour drop the colours to the Stardew Valley and get all the tones right, because I do think, I mean, I know I've not been playing it a long time, but that green and yellow kind of, oh well, golden really, but they are quite iconic to it. I mean, maybe it's not, but I really like the two contrasting colours and I just wanted to make sure I got those right. Obviously my fun additions, I want to make sure fits the colour palette, otherwise it will look like it shouldn't be there, where I do really want it to work together. It was actually really tricky initially deciding how much detail or how little detail to put into the Stardew Valley, the game, like on the screen, because obviously that is actually going to be really small when you zoom out. But I did decide to go in with quite a lot of the detail because, again, I kind of think like the houses on it are a bit iconic. So I just wanted to make sure that from far away you could see the game was Stardew Valley. The same with the trees. That's why I gave them that finishing touch of drawing the individual leaves. And oh my goodness, that took so long. But I really am happy with how it all worked together. So yeah, I did really want to make it look like it was behind glass, but I had to get the balance right because obviously I'd just done all this work to colour in kind of the detail of all the screen, and you don't really want to blur it and cover it too much, but it is on a screen. So I did the diagonal lines, basically what I do for a window, and built upon that, and I put on a white layer over the top, and I played about with the different layer settings, like the opacity, and I kind of worked out what had a good balance in all directions. So yeah, this is what I came up with. And then it was time to draw the character, and this definitely is back within my comfort zone and what I would call my personal kind of cozy illustration vibes, because I could sit back, relax, and almost go onto autopilot. I mean, after you've been doing it about 12 years now? Have I been illustrating 12 years? 10, 12 years? Anyway, I absolutely love this kind of drawing mode. Once all the thinking is done, you just sit back, relax, and I put on a TV series or a movie, which is why I watch so many TV series and movies. I know there's lots of people that actually listen to podcasts or audiobooks, and that's fine, whatever is your cozy illustration vibe. I think it definitely is a saying. There is such a thing as cozy illustration. Be it you look at it and the illustration makes you feel cozy, or while you're doing it, you feel cozy making the illustration. So it was about now, while I was still kind of tweaking the colour palette and seeing where it was going to go and placing all the pops of colour to balance out the image, that I realised this was actually taking me a lot longer than I thought. I don't know why. I mean, yes, okay, I did play a little bit of Stardew Valley while I was doing this, but you know, the chickens had to be fed and you can't look at the Stardew Valley screen without the time passing. So, you know, I was kind of between a rock and a hard place. So I quickly realised about here that I wouldn't be able to work on branding the box and doing all that in the same time, because this illustration has already taken me about 3 days. So obviously with editing and everything else that goes along with it and children, that I'm definitely going to have to do a part 2 with this. But I'm not even angry, because it means that I can just take more time and really focus on the branding and the design of the box. And then I think it will be really helpful to, I mean, I haven't really done any branding before, so it's definitely going to be a new challenge for me, and I will take you along with me. So definitely keep an eye out for part 2 after this video. Might do it next week. I might give it a little break, but let me know if you really want to see that in the comments. So we're just on to doing all the finishing touches and drawing lots and lots of vegetables, which it was bound to happen sometime if we're drawing Stardew Valley. So, yeah. So the very last thing on all these vegetables that I had to do was the smaller details and of course the lighting. Again, focusing on the light coming from the right hand side just so it makes everything look good and keep the consistency of the whole image. So if you play Stardew Valley, you know, okay, some of these fruits and vegetables maybe slightly kind of not to scale, or they're to scale in the Stardew Valley but not in the real world. But that's just where the artistic license comes in really, and you can draw what you want as long as you enjoy it. And what I tend to do is I keep zooming in and out just to make sure I'm happy with the image as a whole. And while I'm creating all these little vegetables and these stems and these plants, I am thinking about how I can reuse the designs of these to go around the switch. Maybe that's the way I want to go for the rebranding type and focus more on the fruits and vegetables, but we'll see how we go next time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I really love what we came up with. Basically, we created a crossover between the Nintendo Switch and Stardew Valley. Illustrating and rebranding this has really got me thinking about what I could do next. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you again in the next video.